we always take caution with the foundation, which is number one, the first thing, the And so, and that's what Oahspe is good about too, because Oahspe lays the foundation for man in Cosman era to rise in his rise in his spirit man above the corporeal man. We don't never lose a corporeal man. The corporeal man is there. While we're mortal, we're always corporeal, and yet we can experience things in our S and live a life of S at the same time. And it's really not a dichotomy in the sense that it's separate and tugging. It can be, but that's basically in the early stages when man is first trying to rise above and get beyond the beast and all that. But it gets better as a person progresses. Anyway, so that we wanted to say that about the foundation, about we always need to take care of the foundation. And also when we go forth, it's always good to build from that foundation. So we're given the foundation, we're told about Jehovah through Oahspe, and how to connect with Jehovah, how to tell light from darkness, how to tell the spirits that come, their grade, and basically we can tell the grade of everyone, and we can progress to being able to do that, and to be able to hear the Creator's voice. This is what it says in Oahspe. That's its purpose, to help man to know of a truth where they're going to be living when they lose this physical body, because you can develop to see spiritually even now, but you have to go through the faithless discipline. This is what Oahspe is about, the faithless discipline. It lays it out, those things that need to get done for the foundation, to build the foundation, to go forward and to rise, to hear the Creator's voice, rise to see the spirit realms and know where we're going to be going, and to read grades and so forth and all that, and to actually feel secure. And because this foundation is the foundation, if we don't feel secure in our foundation, we don't feel secure. And so that's what Seguan, the black doubt, deals with. They take advantage of it. Satan takes advantage of this because they look for weaknesses in the foundation. And well, they don't even look for weaknesses in the foundation. They look for weaknesses in the structure that's built on the foundation. But if need to, they'll go all the way to the foundation, and they all have to be remedied. We have to rise up in light. We have to become like the Vivano of old, the expression of light, an expression of the good. And that way, when we go forth, we go forth in a foundation that's from virtue and cleanliness. And this is part of the faithless discipline: cleanliness and purity. All these good things, that's all laid out in Oahspe. The many things that we need to do in order to rise in our spirit to live the type of life which, as faithless, we should be living. Well, I say should be living. We should be living, ideally, in our hopes at least, because at least you want to hope to live, a life of happiness and joy and peace and harmony and glory and beauty and all that stuff, and affiliation and association and fraternity and the feeling of fulfillment. All that comes about through the faithless discipline, through this foundation that we build, that we go forth in, because the foundation is actually already built. But we have to tune into it. We have to become one with it. We have to adapt ourselves to the foundation, because Jehovah is the foundation. He is going forth, and he lays the foundation. And so to become one with Jehovah, which is the most desirable, because he's all good, everything that's good and the highest best that we can ever attain to thinking about. Jehovah is all those things, and even more comprehensive beyond that, so we can always rise up into greater understanding of the Creator, as we spoke about in some of our earlier videos, or other videos. And so from this foundation. So we're talking about cycles now, any cycle. So the foundation of creation. So what's there? The Ah. And so Ah went forth. And so as Ah was going forth, Ah curled around. He rose up and he saw himself. He got an objective view. The O is the second one in Samoan. The O. You look up. Oh, is comprehension. Comprehension of that which is higher. The sky is what we normally think of when corporeally we look out and we see the sky. Yeah, the sky is up, heaven's up there. You know, so that those became words for sky and heaven and well, initially heaven anyway, and comprehension something, because it's objectivity. The going forth is subjectivity. It's you're just right in it, dealing with it, and so you can't abstract from it and look at it objectively. But with O represents the ability to do that. And in that sense, it's the opposite is introduced, because you can go to the other end here and you can look back and you can see objectively the other end. When you're going forth you look backwards. You have to look through all your filters and everything, and you can't really look at it objectively or abstractly. But with the O, you can just go from that point and look back and you go, oh yes, that's where I was, there. Except when it starts getting real close, then it gets more difficult to view objectively. So that's the O. That's the second cycle. And so in a sense, what this means is that the Ah is the foundation, which then, after the foundation is laid, then that gets repeated. It gets repeated on a higher level, which is the O. And so what this means is that the foundation Ah can be found in O, and we'll get to how you can see the foundation from in it. But you can look back and see the foundation. You can look back and see how, because we have the capacity to abstract. That's the part of the O, is this ability to abstract. But it also then introduces opposites, you know, because you have the arc, and you have one end over here and one end over here, or the crescent, you know, one end over here and one end over here, and they're opposites. And you have the male and the female, and you have a hot and cold, and you have light and dark, all these things. And so that all comes about because of the second cycle. And any second cycle that comes forth, this is what happens. We laid the foundation for the project, and then we go forth with it, and we sort of, at some point, we step back and we objectively look to see how it's going, and we can see how it's working out and all that. That's the second cycle. In short, I mean, there's a lot of other things. There's a lot of other meanings of the second cycle, because for example, it's taking things to extremes, if you want to think of it in that sense. But it's also working from the foundation to these extremes, and so it's taking something, which is whatever foundation you laid out there, and it's taking that and taking that to what it seems to it to be a logical conclusion, or a logical extreme, a logical, you know, so let's take this and see how far we can run with it, kind of thing. And so that all happens during the second cycle. And so if you're looking at the second cycle of anything, you can apply these to that, some of these understandings to that.